Alright, hello everybody, you sick coding people. I'll show you a uh, couple of ways, not like ways, but how you can use time to add dates forward, backwards, and maybe calculate the differences, and etc. So first of all, you open your PHP, some kind of editor which you have, and normally I will just echo out something like time, like sorry, time script, and I'll just show you that the script is up and running, and let's see how can we manipulate time using PHP. So the way I always do it, and I see it to be the best, is first of all, there is always a time zone that your server uh, is let's say adjust to. So we will use it by date, and then you use like a variable date and the date function. So the date function itself, it just will give you the date formation that you ask for. So it'll be your server time. So I'm always asking for all the date, full date that there is. So in this case, it's year. You can use with small year. It will point out only the last two numbers of the year. You can use it with the big Y and month and months and days. And days, if you put it the big ones, it will give you the like Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and if you use the small ones, it will put you out like a number. So hours, minutes, and seconds. So you can throw these numbers around as you wish. You can delete some of these, and you still will get some data output that you ask for. Normally, this function works like time if you use time. So time is basically the same date formation, only in seconds from the beginning. Beginning, I guess, is 1970. I guess it's the beginning of the computer as such. So normally this function works like this: that you add the time which you want to convert to the date format. So if you don't put it here, it will automatically assume that you're asking for the now time. But I'll use time here just because give you a little explanation. Do you see upwards how it will work? So what we will have right here is our date, and time is. So date stands for, let's say, variable, not like variable, but like a letter formatted date, and time is just seconds from the beginning. So the sum of all seconds from the beginning. And you should get something like this. So it's 2022nd year. It's actually the New Year, so Happy New Year to all you guys. And the time is from the beginning. From the beginning. And if you want to see what is the beginning, you can easily put like beginning 0, and then you will see that uh, beginning date and yeah, you can just put 0 here. It doesn't necessarily need this one. And our beginning date is, and time is 0, and because I already inputted 0 here. So let's see what happens. Hopefully I'm right, I'm correct. And I am. So the beginning of the computer is 1970, 0101 midnight. That's the time of 0. And if you add like these millions of seconds to that date, you'll get 2022, 0101. Nearly the same date, only 52 years in front. So approximately this number in seconds translates to 52 years. All right. So now let's say you want to tell your script that, hey, do something after 5 days. Let's say, hey, do something in 5 days. So you just take the same variables, what I'm doing here, and I'll just echo out again the same variables in 5 days. In days. Date 5, let's say just date 5, and time 5. So time 5. There is another thing that you need to keep in mind. These time and date functions are actually really CPU consuming, and sometimes you need to do many date calculations. So that's why I keep in mind that doing it practical is better. Don't use the same function here. Just replace it with a variable of time that you already had before. And now I'll show you how you can add 5 days. And you might have guessed, it's in a minute there is 60 seconds. In an hour there is 60 minutes. In a day there's 24 hours. And in 5 days, and you need to multiply it by 5 days, it's 5 days. So it's you just add to the same now time these seconds, and you should get out the date. I'll write just a quick error here, and you should get out something in like 5 days. In 5 days, yeah, it's like 5 days in complete pure 5 days in front, and you can use math to calculate the gap between. Then you'll see how much is 5 days in seconds and translate the seconds. So in on one day, I guess there was 86,400 seconds. So multiply by 5, and you get the numbers right there. And now the most interesting thing is how you could actually uh, calculate how much time is left until a certain date. And let's say you have like a date. Let's say I'll just copy some sort of date, and the date is, for example, I'll just put like 2 months in front. Let's say 12, something like this. Date in front. Okay, so now what you need to do, you need to transform that variable into time. Time front equals this is the function, and I'm using it really often. And now what happens is that date is transformed into time, into seconds. The seconds are what I was showing right there. So now what you need to do is you need to calculate the gap between the future time and now time, and it's pretty easy. Okay, we'll just gap equals so this is future time, therefore it's greater than the now time. And just because I'm lazy to copy paste the variable, I'll just write it here and echo. The thing is, you cannot change the gap into a format like this. So maybe you can do it. You need to write your own script to do so, and I'll show you how you can do it. So the, the difference is gap. Difference is gap seconds. Okay, so let's show you how. The function is not written right. It's to time. Okay. I'm not echoing out any errors. Okay. So the difference is 5 million, I guess, seconds or something. Now, what you can do is, now that you have the gap, you can use a function to change it into understandable format, like 5 minutes and 2 days, let's say. Uh, uh, I will write this function myself right now, just so that you can have the idea. So the gap. So if those who are not familiar with the function, I'll explain a function is you can eventually, what I'll be writing right here, you can just type it right here as you want, but I'll just because this function will be used, I use such functions in many other scripts. So I have my own class full with functions, and then I call it because it's a standard. It's not a unique function for some other scripts. It's pretty much a standard. I believe PHP has this function built in itself, but just to give you a uh, like a little tutorial how it actually could work pretty fine. So what we are doing right here is we are putting the gap, which is the gap seconds, to this function, and here is the function, some calculations, and it will put out this variable as the result what we will have here, right in here. So let's say we want to get the clean days. What are the clean days? Let's say the gap needs to be divided, days equals the gap needs to be divided by 86400, and of course it will be not formatted correctly. It will be something like one blah blah, blah and maybe something like this. So clean days, floor days. Floor is a function that if you have something like 1.333, it will point out 1242, like a clean result without a dot. So that will have clean days. And let's say we want to have a clean minutes as well. So the minutes equals days by clean minutes. Just because I'm not familiar. No, minutes will be 16. 60 times 60 will be hours. Clean floor min. All right. So hours will be days divided by 3060. So in an hour there's a 3060 seconds. So clean. So if you do not understand what's written here, so we are getting, we want to format it up to days. So gap. Okay, okay, there's a mistake. We need to do is we have the clean days right here. Here is everything okay. Everything is okay. Here's everything until here is okay. So now what we need to do, we need to have the other part behind the dot, which eventually would be okay. Yeah. So let's put hours on top. Let's put hours on top. So the hour gap, let's call it like this, would be days minus clean days times 86400. So eventually what will happen is we have the clean days, which will be basically something around 5, correctly 5, and we multiply it back to get our full seconds of the 5 days seconds. Then we take it off from the days, and meaning we have the other part, everything that's behind the dot, what was left behind the dot. Now we have an hour gap, and now we need to calculate clean hours, right? And we will have clean hours, so everything should be correct here as well. So, and after those clean hours are calculated, we need to have clean minutes. So basically, we need to have a minute gap, which will be the same, hours minus clean hours times 3060. Now, I'm pretty curious what will the system point out, but we would have something like the gap is clean days, clean hours, clean minutes. And let's see what happens. I'm just curious. I'm a little bit in a hurry. I need to go to the store, but anyway. The gap is 58 days. 58 days. Okay, so let's check how many days it actually is. And it's 2 months. So yeah, it's 58 days. But the hours are minus 1392. So the hours are not correct. So let's see what hours we have. We can just debug this code and let's see what kind of errors are we having here. And it's actually pretty easy. Clean hours, floor clean hours. Okay, so here we are already having a negative. Let's just copy this one inside here and let's see what we have. As I many times tell to people that, yeah, so we are using clean hours and taking from them off well, there are two things what we could do. We could take the 58.83 minus 58 and then this part multiply by 86400, or we could multiply them both to 86400. So there are many ways how we can solve this issue, but the issue is telling us that there's a negative 500,000 hour change, which basically is impossible. But which means that, yeah, it's because I divided this here by 8. Normally, I think I can just put it in the gap and not do anything. Yeah, just see what happens. Yeah, okay, so 58 days, 20 hours, and 0 minutes. So apparently we're lacking the minute part, and let's just get it out somewhere. I'm very sorry that I'm doing it unclean in an unclean way. But just so you could understand the function itself, it could be pretty okay. So now we have 5 days, 24 hours, and 6 minutes. And the difference is 500 and some, or 5 million. Let's check. Yeah, 5 million second the gap. So 58 days translate into 5 million seconds. So 2 months you've been living for 5 million seconds. So, and of course you could format this. You can tell if the clean minute is, let's say days are less or equals to 0. Don't show the days, just tell that there's hours and minutes left. And even seconds, you can do it pretty easily. So we will just return it. And we will have like a format. The gap is, we can just echo it out, and no matter. So yeah, and I think these are the most common and most usable functions that you can do with dates and times. And from all of these, you can make also moon calendars, get which day is Friday, Wednesday. And to get Fridays or Wednesdays, you can just change this to a larger D. If you want to use decimals, you use small d. You can change all these variables here to bigger and smaller ones. And I guess if you put small h here, you will get 12-hour format. If you push larger h here, you get 24-hour format. And the reason why I is meant for minutes is because the month already is used by the M letter is used by the months. So you can put large M here. Let's say you put large M here, and you have a different output. Just check. I'll change the months right here, like a January 01, and you can mess this code pretty up. You can mess it up. I mean, like you can change it and edit how you wish to show them, but you keep in mind that the most important function is the string to time. So you need to. This format has to be in an understandable way for the string to time. In other words, to do the time manipulations as you wish. So in other words, if you want to like add 2 hours, 3 hours, or take off 3 or 5 hours or something, you just use the time and then convert the time to date, and another way around, convert the date to time and and time to date. So pretty easy, nothing difficult. When I was learning it, it was challenging me because there were no actual tutorials in a simple way tutorials how you can use it. But this is pretty easy and pretty simple, and I don't think you'll have any challenges if you do it this way. So anyway, thank you and see you guys on different video. Bye.